So you're studying for the IELTS, right? And I'm guessing you've been told to memorize these huge, long lists of advanced vocabulary. But what if I told you that's honestly one of the biggest mistakes you can make? Okay, let's dive into a much smarter and more effective way to boost that writing score. Yeah, I want to start with this because it's just the hard truth. For the most part, vocabulary lists are completely useless. They just throw random words at you, totally out of context with no real system for you to actually learn them. And this is the result, isn't it? It probably sounds familiar. You spend hours and hours cramming words like ameliorate or ubiquitous, but then you're sitting in the exam, you're under pressure, and your mind just goes blank. The words just don't come to you naturally. It's this super frustrating cycle that honestly doesn't improve your score at all. So let's completely shift our perspective here. If you want to get that band 7 or higher, you need to adopt the mindset of a high scorer. And what that really means is focusing on quality, not just piling on quantity. You know, when you actually look at high-scoring essays, you find a pretty surprising secret. They don't use hundreds of different impressive words. Nope. Instead, they use a smaller, really high-impact vocabulary, but they use it with incredible precision. The whole key is that the words fit the context perfectly. So here's the crucial point. Your goal isn't to show off all these big words you know. It's to communicate. The examiner is looking for clarity and precision. Can you get a complex idea across in a way that's easy to understand, using strong, appropriate vocabulary? That is the real key. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, forget memorizing a list of 100 words. Let's start with a really manageable, powerful system that you can start using today. I call it the Starting 5 system. The process is simple, but trust me, it's incredibly effective. First thing, pick just 5, only 5, high-impact words you truly want to master. Second, practice them in different contexts. Don't just memorize definitions. Third, you've got to pressure test them. Try using them in your timed writing tasks. And finally, once they start to feel natural, you integrate them into your vocabulary and you add 5 more. It's this powerful cycle of active, focused learning. So what kind of words should you even choose for your starting 5? Well, let's look at a few examples of how you can upgrade some common, overused words into some really high-scoring alternatives. Let's take the word important. It's fine, but it's pretty basic. Now, look at the alternatives. Crucial suggests that something is a deciding factor for success. Vital implies it's necessary for life or function. Essential means it's a fundamental part of something. See that added layer of precision? That is exactly what examiners reward. And the same thing goes for the word good. I mean, it's such a vague word. Is something good because it helps? Well, then say it's beneficial. Is it good because it has a constructive outcome? Then positive is your word. Is it advantageous? Then favorable is perfect. Each one of these makes your argument that much stronger. Let's see how this works with a really common IELTS topic, the environment. This is a classic, right? So having a good range of vocabulary here is a huge advantage. So, instead of just repeating the environment 5 times in your essay, you can vary your language. The natural world. That's a beautiful descriptive alternative. Ecosystems sounds a bit more scientific and specific. And the planet really emphasizes the global scale of the issue. The right choice just depends entirely on the context of your sentence. All right, you ready for a pro-level technique? This is something that really separates a band 6.5 from a 7.5 or an 8. It's called nominalization, and it's a fantastic way to make your writing sound much more academic and formal. So what even is it? Well, to put it simply, it's just changing a verb or an adjective into a noun. And this one little trick instantly elevates the formality of your writing. It moves you away from simple conversational sentences and into a more sophisticated academic style. And this example just illustrates the difference perfectly. People are using. That's a pretty simple verb phrase. But changing it to a rise in mobile phone usage, well, that creates a noun phrase that's more concise, more abstract, and definitely more academic. It shifts the focus from the people doing the action to the trend itself, which is just perfect for Task 2 essays. Okay, before we wrap up, it's just as important to know what not to do. There are a few really common traps that students fall into when they're trying to use advanced vocabulary, and they can actually hurt your score. Here are the big 3. First, never, ever force a word just because it sounds impressive. If it doesn't fit, it's going to sound really unnatural. Second, if you aren't 100% sure of a word's meaning and how to use it, just don't use it. An incorrect word is so much worse than a simple correct one. And finally, always consider the context. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Just look at this sentence. It sounds like a thesaurus just exploded on the page. The words are technically correct, I guess, but this sentence is just pretentious and totally unnatural. It's a classic sign of someone trying way too hard to impress. Now look at this. It's clear, it's confident, and it sounds natural. It expresses the exact same idea, but in a way that is just so much more effective. This is what the examiner wants to see. Precision over pretension every single time. All right, so we've covered the mindset, we've got the system, and we know the pitfalls to avoid. The only thing left to do is to actually put it into practice. This is about building a new habit, not just cramming for a test. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget those long, useless lists. Based on what we've just talked about, what will be your starting 5? Pick them, practice them, and start using them with confidence. That is the smart way to master IELTS vocabulary.